All right, Guardians, we are really starting to see the whole ship turn its nose right now. Couple of facts for you. They've won 4 of 5.
Fact.
They've won 7 of 11, so you really want to see it go over a double-digit stretch. They're a game and a half out. As you look at the standings, I know everything's close. They're also only 2 games from being in 4th, but everything is trending in the right direction. Now, Houston comes into town tonight. That's going to be a tough series, but if they can keep the bats rolling, it's all about winning series.
Yep.
Tito's preaching, I'm sure, 2-3 game stretches at a time. Win series, one after another. If you do that, you're going to end up in first place. I want your guys' take before I give mine on where things sit today, June the 9th, on the Guardians. Are you buying them for the playoffs? Are you selling them for the playoffs?
Which one you want to go? What you want to do?
I mean, I'll start. I'm buying them for the playoffs simply because I think the division's terrible. As you laid out before we got into this, if they're in the AL East, they're out of it.
They're out.
If they're in the AL West, they're out of it.
Yeah.
But they're in the AL Central, and that puts them right in the thick of things. They have won 3 of their last 4 series. They're playing better. Yeah. The one series they didn't win was a 2-2 split. So they actually haven't lost in 4 series. And speaking of the number 4, this is why I'm not fully buying in, even though I am buying them as a playoff contender. They've won 4 games this year by 4+ runs. That's it. They've played over 60 games. They've only won 4. They have 29 wins. 25 of those have been save situations.
Right.
That is the fewest by any team that would have won the division through 62 games ever.
Wow.
So they're not crushing teams. They're squeaking by teams, which is fine because a win's a win. It doesn't matter if you win by 1 run or win by 10 runs.
You know, their last 3 losses are all by 1 run.
Yep. So they have played, they're 13-17 in 1-run games this year. So they have had every break go their way last year. This year, those breaks haven't all gone their way. And they're not blowing teams out. The run differential is still in the red.
It is.
However,
22, minus 22 or something?
22, 23, right in that range. It's in the 20s. But they're a game and a half back because the Twins, who are in first place, are under 500. So don't sell your Guardian stock.
No.
They're going to be a playoff team. Can they win the World Series? Totally different question. But as far as are they a playoff team? Yeah, it's because this division sucks.
Yeah.
Well, they're sneaky. That's the way it happens in baseball. Sometimes you can start off bad. We was just laughing and joking about baseball. There's a lot of things that can come down to, if you don't, a lot of the balls that they were hitting earlier this year was right at people. A lot of them bloop singles wasn't falling in. But some things started to change a little bit. They got McKenzie back. He came out and pitched, got 10 strikeouts. And you can start to see, there's a level of confidence because now you got another guy back who now, when he's pitching, you don't think you got to you don't got to put up 9, 10 runs, right? You just need to get enough over the hump. So that infuses with some confidence. Then you get little guy Rosario. He must have heard people talking about him because now all of a sudden he's getting these little bloop hits. Now he's getting on base. Now he looks like he's starting to hit the ball a little bit better.
I think everybody had a hit yesterday.
Everybody, all these hits.
Most of them had multiple hits. They had 15 hits.
15 hits. Then the big one is Will Brennan just thinks he's
my guy.
Will Brennan feels like he is actually playing right now like he feels like that's his position.
We need to get him back on the show. Have we made the effort to get him back? Because when I talked to the Guardians at spring training, they made it seem like, that's absolutely a doable deal. Yeah. He likes coming on. We'll get him on as a regular.
I'll talk to Curtis again, but they were struggling for a large portion of the season.
Sure.
He wasn't playing well, so Curtis was like, let's wait.
All right,
but
Curtis,
now that he's
let's go. Let's get him on
now. I'll reach back out to Curtis. I bet you we can get him on.
He hit a home run. Listen, he turned on an inside pitch. I was like, okay, Will. I see what you're out there doing.
He sacrificed the bird. And has since grown his baseballs have grown wings and they're flying out.
I was there that night.
This does not include his stats from last night, and he went 2 for 4 with the home run last night.
Right.
But since he hit the bird, and Anthony, do we still have the tag board in from yesterday? We had his stats, but I think he was hitting like 459 since he hit the bird. Yeah, and we had the tag board from yesterday. I'll find it. I can find it real quick.
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
But it's an and this does not include yesterday. So when I find it, give me 1 sec. But since he killed the bird,
if he was 459 before
it may not have been. Just give me 1 sec. I'll get you the exact number.
The bottom line is he accidentally killed a bird and he's gone nuts.
He's been red hot.
And now he feels he's
you ready?
Right fielder.
Since Brennan exploded a bird, and this includes last night now, he's 17 for 41 for a .410 batting average, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs.
Wow.
17 for 41
See,
since
if
killing
they
the
can
bird.
continue to get that, that's that's better than Oscar Gonzalez production.
What you mean?
That's-
If
that's
they
way
can
better.
continue to get that out of right field, that solves a problem. I tell you another thing, and this is why I'm buy. And this is why when we talked at the beginning of the year, you said, where is this team going to be when McKenzie comes back? And I said, they're going to be at 500. They weren't quite at 500. But as we look now at the second third of the season, the middle third of the season, I think they're going to finish about 10 games over 500. I think they're that good of a club. Here's why I have big time reason for hope. Look at their rotation is now settled in. Everything takes care of itself. Quantrill, for whatever reason, whether there's a real injury or he's just forgotten how to get guys out, he's now out of the rotation. He's got the injury. He's unavailable for now. Plezak, wow. I mean, I don't think we'll ever see the 2020 Plezak or 21. I can't remember which of the years he looked really, really good. That ship has sailed. So here's now their starting rotation as it looks today. And I'm going to read these in order of earned run average, okay? Now, obviously, McKenzie's thrown 5 innings. He's got a 0 earned run average. I do think that he's the de facto ace of this staff.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's supplanted Bieber as the ace.
Yeah.
His stuff is electric. It's Cy Young quality. He's got high strikeout stuff. Bieber is no longer a strikeout guy, it appears. So I've got McKenzie. He's got the best ERA on the staff. Savali went 5 2/3 last night. He gave up the home run. Prior to that, he had only given up 1 run. So he gave up 2 last night. He's 2-1 after the win. His ERA is 2.31.
Yeah.
So he's not the number 2, but right now, these are the ERAs in order.
Right.
Then you got Logan Allen. Then you've got Tanner Bybee. The highest ERA on the Guardians' starting 5 staff right now is Shane Bieber at 3.5 runs a game.
Yeah.
So when you look at that, and you look at the fact that the bats are finally starting to talk, if you have 5 pitchers, your 5 starters, and the highest ERA is 3.5, and he's the Cy Young winner,
Your World
and he
Series
hasn't
contender.
yet pitched up to his potential, you can see why there's a lot of excitement around how this team can win the division. Because this is a starting rotation. I'm not saying that they can go deep in the playoffs, because there's not a lot of them that have playoff experience. But this is a staff that can win a division, and they're going to make this whole trade Bieber, keep Bieber scenario real difficult for the Guardians. I read a couple of days ago, a major league executive was quoted as saying Shane Bieber's not that guy. Essentially, that's what he said. It's like the Guardians, if they're expecting a big package for him, they're not going to get it. He's no longer Shane Bieber, All-Star Game MVP, Cy Young winner.
He kind of reminds me, as they were pitching, I said, is Shane Bieber the new version of Corey
Kluber. Yeah.
I said, because they killing.
By the way, that was hard to watch.
That was bad. That was the rope-a-dope.
Yeah, he's
They
done.
had him on the ropes, and they just kept tagging him.
Yeah.
And I said, Corey Kluber, this is what a team is going to be looking at with Bieber in about 3 years if they decide to make
Well,
that
I
move.
hope for Shane's sake, he's a great guy, and he's a talent. I hope for his sake it's longer than that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the arc and the trajectory of a pitcher is they tend to be in their prime 28 to 32. And I do think Bieber is still in that, but I do think that I don't know how long he's going to be able to sustain that. I'm really surprised at how his strikeout numbers have gone down.
Well, his velocity's down 5-6 miles an hour.
And that's worrisome
Yeah.
to me. I don't know if that could be a telltale to an injury. Everybody's keeping it quiet because he's on the blocks. The last thing you want to do if you're the Guardians and you're really trying to move him
Is
is
leak
to
an
shelve
injury,
him.
yeah.
So I don't know that it's now if you're Bieber and you've got an injury, you're going to insist that you go on the DL.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is with him, but guys, there've got to be real conversations going on inside that building as to what we do with Shane Bieber. Because I mentioned this last week and I'll repeat it. If they're in first place and they trade their Cy Young and their
It's hard to sell
1A.
it to the rest of the team.
how do you sell that to Jose Ramirez?
Especially if it's only
And the
prospects.
fan base.
Especially if it's only prospects coming back.
We don't need prospects. We've got prospects.
We have too many prospects.
We need a bat or two that we can insert into the lineup.
Today.
And by reading some of the comments from some of these general managers, it doesn't appear that that's going to happen.
Now, on the flip side, though, and I'm not advocating for or against trading Shane Bieber here. I'm just saying because the second wild card's been added and so many teams are in it now, there's a chance that Bieber is the best starting pitcher available at the deadline, which means you might get back more for him than you would based on just his production alone. Like, he might be the prized pick essentially of the of the trade deadline acquisition period.
I don't know. I haven't
so you
really
get the
studied.
haul back.
There's a lot of teams that are out of it already. You know, when you look at what the Rays have done, the Rays have just run away with things.
But really, there's only 2 teams in the AL who are completely out.
Well,
of it.
the A's are dead.
A's and Royals.
They're 100%
the only 2
dead.
teams that are totally out of it.
Yeah, but here's what I'll say too. If I'm going to advocate one way or another, it's going to be to keep them. And here's why. We're watching, and I don't think they're going to win the title, but we're watching an 8 seed in the NBA who, up until their loss 2 nights ago, had home court advantage in the NBA Finals.
Right. 1-1.
So that happens. It happens. It happens in baseball. In fact, I'll argue that it's easier for it to happen in baseball than it is any other sport.
100%.
No argument.
In the
No
NFL,
argument.
every year you've got a handful, maybe 6, 8 teams, maybe. In the NBA, 4 to 6 teams, maybe. In Major League Baseball, just in the past couple of years, we saw a Braves team come back from the dead in August to win the World Series.
Nationals.
It can happen. The Nationals did it a few years back. So, as a starving fan who wants desperately to see meaningful baseball in October, and I enjoyed it last year even though it didn't end the way we wanted, I want this team to take every and all opportunities they can to play deep into October. And I'll say this. Their chances decrease dramatically if Shane Bieber is not on the roster on August 1st of making a playoff run. You're going to need his stability. He's a guy that can likely give you 2 starts in a playoff series.
Yep.
He has experience. The stage will not be too big for him. Bibee is going to be wide-eyed.
Yep.
Logan Allen is going to be wide-eyed. McKenzie's been there a little bit, so he's got a little bit of experience. But I think he's going to be, still a newbie by playoff experience standards. So will Savali. Bieber is your rudder in the water, and I hope they keep him.
I do have a question. So you listed the 5 stars with the lowest ERAs, and 2 of those guys in Bibee and Allen.
And those are all the starters. Obviously.
Starters,
they have,
and McKenzie, like I said, it's only pitched 5 innings. Savali only has, I think, 4 starts or 5 starts all season. So little off kilter here, but guys like Bibee and Allen, when you see top pitching prospects come into the majors, a lot of times they look unhittable in their first couple starts. There's no real film. I remember Strasburg and his first start against the Pirates, and I think he had 14 strikeouts, which set the MLB rookie record. And I think the Pirates, only touched the ball like 4 times.
Yeah, well, he had a pitch that most people hadn't seen before.
So no film, and a lot. The Guardians have brought guys up who've looked extraordinary in their first start. How many starts do these guys need before opposing teams can start to game plan against what they do?
Well, it's so much more different now, and I'm glad you asked that question because I was talking with a scout 2 years ago, at the end of the 21 season about this very thing, about how he said there's no more surprises. There used to be pop quizzes.
Yeah.
It used to be when a guy like Bibee would come up, everybody would say, well, we had some advanced scouting on him. Looks like he's got an A+ fastball. It looks like he's got a plus curveball, but he's only got 3 pitches that he can command. So they had that knowledge. But now there's no more pop quizzes. There's tape on everybody, even in the minor leagues, because a lot of these AAA games there's tape on these AAA games, some AA games. So once these guys have a book, it's a lot easier for teams to strategize against how they're going to approach them. So and really, Bibee can throw once or twice in the big leagues, and now we have tendencies to lean on. Oh, when he's up 0-2, he likes to go this way. When he's down 2-0, he always goes this way. So there's really no more surprises. The advanced scouting and the analytics now took that kind of mystery of the game out.
Okay.
So guys used to come up and dominate for 3 or 4 starts, and then they would start to get hit.
And I'm glad you said that, because that was a little bit of my concern with these guys. They've been great so far, but eventually other teams will kind of understand.
So what it is now is it's making the adjustment to the adjustment.
Yeah.
So hitters now are the first to make the adjustments. So how will they adjust to the way Bibee and Allen pitch?
Gotcha.
And we'll see that. And ultimately what we'll find is, I'll give you an example. A guy throws a curveball, but it's always out of the strike zone. So he starts it as a strike, and then it tails off.
Eventually you learn just
Well, soon everybody's spitting
stop
on
swinging,
it because they know what it is. They know it's a ball. So now they're going to force that pitcher to start it in and to break it over the plate. What happens when the strike ends up or when the curveball ends up in the strike zone? So then Bieber's going to have to make an adjustment. Okay, I'll start it higher and break it down or whatever the case may be. But it's such a game of cat and mouse. It's like a Rubik's Cube. If you've ever done a Rubik's Cube, if you start to get one side, if that's your strategy, I'm going to get one side, then I'll get the other 5.
It all falls into place.
You're going to fail. No, you're going to fail because by getting this one solved, now trying to solve others, you're going to screw this one up.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what
So for anybody that's done a Rubik's Cube the approach is to get the corners all the way around. You get your 4 white corners, your 4 red corners, your 4 green, 4 blue, 4 yellow. Then you get the middle rows. Well, you're multitasking. You're doing many things at once. And it's the same thing for pitchers and hitters and the cat and mouse. As hitters are starting to adjust to his fastball, he's got to continue to change his fastball, but also work on his curveball. So it's a complex game. Those that can adjust survive. Those that don't are Oscar Gonzalez on the hitter's end of it.
Yeah.
He couldn't show plate discipline. Pitchers knew what he was going to do, and they were able to have better success against him.
And one guy who does have plate discipline, Jose Ramirez, 3 home runs, first 3 at bats. I think he hit 2 from the right side, 1 from the left side.
Yeah.
To me, it's always fascinating when you talk about switch hitters because they're another part of an equalizer, right? Like, if you got multiple switch hitters in your lineup, you do a great opportunity. You have an opportunity to keep a good hitter in the lineup. And one thing about Jose Ramirez is hitting them 3 home runs. It's crazy because it was the first time I think in a while it kind of reminded people that why he's a superstar, right? You know what I'm saying? Also, crazy play at third base. You went down the line, that was a crazy play, getting them throwing him out of first base. So the great thing about it is, especially when you talk about baseball, is everybody knows the clubhouse is infectious. Like if you see Jose Ramirez go up there and he hit 3 home runs, that puts a little bit of onus on you. That makes you feel like, oh, they hittable. Jose is hitting them. Jose is lining them up. I think I'm hot too. All of a sudden, then you see Will Brennan come up and hit a home run. For the Guardians, it was refreshing to see that people were still trying to come up, and they were still trying to put more runs on the board. I think sometimes when you're conservative and you don't get a lot of runs, sometimes people will go up there and they get a 2-3 run lead. They want to wave the flag and say, all right, let's just coast this out. Nah, I need y'all to see it's okay to put 12 on a team. We all adults here. You can run rule people.
And let's be honest, the Guardians need to stat pad.
Yes.
Because a lot of their stats are terrible, especially offensively. So when they get an opportunity against
Run it up.
And we love Corey Kluber, but he was throwing BP last night, essentially.
It was hard to watch.
Why did they take that man out? I know they wanted to set it up for the next series. They had him out there looking crazy.
Well, at some point, it's not a white flag, but it is kind of a white flag, and you're just in inning-eating mode.
You have a sacrilegious goat.
Just save the bullpen, and it's embarrassing. I'm sure Corey Kluber wanted to, dig a hole and hide under the mound. Yeah. But when it's a veteran like that, and he's pitching in front of the crowd that used to adore him, I thought there might have been a little bit more human decency involved.
And I give the fans credit. I noticed. Did you guys see that? They kind of clapped it up for him.
They were actually trying.
Yeah, they did.
And kudos to them because that's a classy move for an opposing player.
Very
who
classy.
Obviously,
you're essentially trying to lift up the opposition.
Yeah, it was a bad spot.
I've seen it happen like in the 9th inning of a no-hitter.
Right.
When the opposing team is throwing a no-hitter, the home fans, even though their team is getting no hit, they want to see history, and they kind of get into it.
Yeah.
And there's a faction of those fans that will stand and cheer. I just saw something that I can tell my kids about. Yeah. But I thought it was good to see too. Look, Corey Kluber is one of the all-time fan favorites for the Cleveland Indians and Guardians, and it was really hard to look at.
One more point I want to point out about Jose's performance last night, and this goes to how bad offensively they've been, especially in the power category. Jose's 3 home runs last night increased the team's home run total by 9%.
Wow.
They're at 39 now, right?
Brennan had 40. So.
Oh, yeah.
But before Brennan hit his,
he's got almost 25% of the team's entire home runs.
Well, he had 6 in 61 games heading into last night. Wow. He had 3 in last night's game. So he increased his home run total by 50% in one night. And the team total up 8.6 to be exact.
Yeah. Oh, there's one other stat, too, that and they're still dead last in home runs, and that's not a surprise because they were way trailing. But in the last couple of weeks, this is what's really reason for me to be excited. They were 30th in batting average. They're 21st now.
Yep. On the rise.
And they're not far from being middle of the pack.
Well, Brennan's been much better. Jimenez has been much better.
Quan has been better.
Quan's been better. Jose's been better. And Rosario has 4 hits in the last 2 days.
He's showing
Yes, he
signs.
is.
So it's baseball streaky. A lot of times a team can all slump at once. And I think if you're Tito this morning and you're waking up with a 1.5 game deficit, you're waking up today and you're saying, yeah, this team can do it. Because there's never any I know that we get down on players, and I know there's a lot of talk in our chat about get rid of Rosario and put Rosario. No. Like, Tito is nothing but patient. You're not in the East.
To a fault.
To a fault. However, when Rosario's hitting 275 in August, we're going to say that's where we wanted him to be. I mean, ideally, we'd like him to be even higher than that, but he'll get it. He's a hitter. He didn't forget how to hit. Yeah. He didn't get old.
Same with Jimenez.
Same with Jimenez. Yeah. Ramirez. A lot of people were looking at Jose saying, wow, what's happened to Jose? These guys, now watch them. They're going to all stay hot together at the same time. And if they can turn 7 and 4 over their last 11 into, say, 20 and 11 over a 30-game stretch,
they'll have a 10-game lead in the AL Central.
You can run away with this division because no one else is making noise.
I look at it, I think there's a date. Like, in my mind, you know how they talk about it in basketball, you want to cut it to a certain 10 at halftime?
Yep.
I think that they have to be, if they can be in first place within the next
they can be in first
2-3
place
weeks,
in 2 days, bro.
Like, they can.
Literally 2 days.
They can be in first place by the end of the weekend.
If they can do it by the end of June, think about that.
Yeah,
everything that happened before that don't even matter now.
None of it matters. Nope. None of it matters now. So get these guys hot. You got your pitching staff has already kind of resolved itself, and you know what it is now. Just keep these guys healthy, and let's go.
I want to test your guys' Guardians-Indians knowledge real quick before we move to the next topic. Ramirez became the 8th player since 2000 in a Cleveland uniform to hit 3 home runs in a game. Can you name the other 7?
Oh, my God.
And I'm putting you totally on the spot. I didn't even tell Anthony about this. I found this
Let's go
stat.
Jim Thome.
Thome did it July 6, 2001.
Okay. Let's go.
And in the chat, if you guys know, drop it in the chat. Anthony will be looking.
Did Lindor?
Lindor did not.
Did Encarnacion do it?
He was the last before Ramirez, May 2nd, 2018.
Okay, so that's 2. There's 7 to do it?
1, 2, 3, 4. You have 5 left to guess.
Okay.
Bronk?
Travis Hafner?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
Travis
okay.
Hafner. July 20th, 2004.
I'm trying to think, like, the years that Ramirez left. He was gone by 2001, I think.
Yeah.
Manny is not on this list.
Yeah, he was gone before that.
Jason Kipnis?
No, there's a couple names that – 2 names you guys should get, 2 names that, if you remember, I'll be surprised. Obviously, they were important players, but –
Yeah. Give me a hint. Give me an initial.
Johnny Peralta?
LC.
Lonnie Chisenhall?
Yep, June 9th, 2014.
Wow. The Chisenator.
SSC.
SSC.
Outfielder. 2010, September 17th, 2010.
SSC?
Hyphenated first name. Of Asian descent.
Oh,
Sin Chu. We forget.
September.
Wow.
Chu is nice for about a year and a half.
I know
September
he was.
17th.
And we always thought he was going to have to go back to South Korea to serve his 2-year military commitment.
Didn't they trade him to the Reds?
Rangers, I thought.
Rangers, yeah. And he's had a big contract. 2 more. A switch hitting catcher. VM.
Oh, Victor Martinez.
Yeah.
And June 19th, 2021, EB.
2021. Oh,
2001. Sorry, 2001.
Oh,
I was about to say.
EB. 2021. I don't know.
Ellis Burks.
Oh, Ellis Burks.
Ellis Burks.
Yeah.
So to run through real quick, the 8 players since 2001 who have hit 3 home runs in a Cleveland Indians/Guardians uniform. Jose Ramirez, Edwin Encarnacion, Lonnie Chisenhall, Sin-Soo Choo, Travis Hafner, Victor Martinez, Jim Thome, and Ellis Burks.
I got to tell you, there's something special about the multiple homer game. There really is a point where it looks like a beach ball, and you're like, I'm not missing.
locked in.
I'm not missing today.
In high school, if you get 2 home runs, matter of fact, because they don't even have fences like that in high school.
And a lot of fields do, but many don't.
So when you listen, if you up and you hitting 2 home runs, I used to tell my coach, there's no way. I'm not even looking at you down there. Listen, I will swing at the first pitch fastball.
I swung at 3-0 Saturday. I did. I hit a home run on 3-0 a couple years ago.
Hey,
and I've always said that's the best pitch in baseball to sit on.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes
You know it's going to be a fastball, and it's going to be right in the crosshairs. Okay, we have to do a